All right, now we're doing 7Q, the alphabet product. This is by PR141, and 92% of the people like it. So we have four positive integers, A, B, C, and D, where A, B, C, and D are all, where A is less than B is less than C is less than D. So the input is a list of integers A, B, C, D, A times B, B times C, C times D, and D times A in some order, and our task is to return the value of D. All right. So we could do something. We could do a for loop. First things first, we're going to have to sort this thing out, okay? Because no matter what, A and B are going to be the lowest two numbers, no matter how we slice it. And then no matter what, this one's going to be, never mind. And no matter what, this one right here is going to be the highest number, because this number times this number is going to just make the highest number of this logical list. So that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to sort this using the sort method, which sorts the elements of an array in place and returns the reference to the same array now sorted. The default sort order is ascending, built upon converting the elements into strings, then comparing their sequences of UTF-16 code unit values. All right, so since that's the case, what we're going to have to use is one of these functions, because we've got numerals, we've got digits or primitive numbers, and not strings, right? So down here, what we're going to do is we're going to say the ns.sort, and then we're going to compare one element to the other. And if the expression we're going to write comes out negative, they're going to stay in the same order. But if it's positive, they're going to switch places. Hopefully that makes sense to you. All right, so over here we're going to say let sorted equal ns.sort. We're going to have A and B as arguments for this function. That's going to ask if A is less than B. All right, so if A minus B is negative, then they don't switch spaces, and if it comes out positive, then they switch places, right? And let's just prove that by saying console.log sorted. Tested it out. And ascending order just like that. So no matter what, these two belong there, and no matter what, this one is going to belong here, okay? So now we've just got to switch these around to get everything in the place we need it to be. So first thing we're going to do is come down here and say for. Let I equal, and we're going to have 2 because we already know these two. So we're going to say 0, 1, 2. So we're going to say when I equals 2, let I equals 2. Let I equal 2. If I is less than, while I is less than sorted.length, we're going to say I++. All right? And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to say if sorted at I equals sorted at 0 times sorted at 1. What we're going to do is we're going to say, so if this is the case, if they equal each other, like if this one equals this times this, we're going, and it does in this case, we're going to put this one, we're going to switch this one with this one, okay? So we're going to switch, basically what we're going to do is we're going to say sorted at I, comma, sorted at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and not because it's 4, but because it's, what's it called? Index 4. We're going to switch that up. We're going to say that now equals, let's just take this here. It now equals sorted at 4, comma, sorted at I. So just like with this sort thing here, it compares the two and then switches them, all right? And so now, let's do a console.log sorted. Let's check what it looks like now. All right, so now the 4 is here, and the 2 is here because 1 times 2 equals 2. all right? But the thing is, this has to be less than this, has to be less than this, has to be less than this, but this is greater than this. So now we're going to switch these two around. So let's come down here and say if, and let's just take this thing. We just take this whole thing right here. Actually, we could just take this whole thing right here. How about that? Something like that. All right. Let's say if, put that there. If sorted at 0, 1, 2, sorted at 2 is greater than sorted at 3, take this out of here, we're going to switch sorted at 2, sorted at 3, and make it sorted at 3, sorted at 2. Now let's see what sorted looks like. These two should switch around if we did it right. There they go. There we go. Awesome. So now let's do the step again. Let's take this and do it again. But this time let's change it up to 1 and 2. And switch this one up. Switch up 5. Let's test that out. And we can even change this to 3. Now let's test it out. All right. And so now, I forgot what it looked like. Now, yeah, it just did the same thing before. And let's do it one more time. All right. Let's break this, bring this back, turn this to 4, turn this to 2, turn this to 3, turn this to 6, turn this to 6, test it out. All right, and now it's looking, here's the 12 where it needs to be, and so we can just say right down here, return sorted at 0, 1, 2, 3, at 3. Let's test that out. And there we go, and attempt it. And there we go, it works like a charm. But you know what, that's a lot of repetition, a lot of copy and pasting, and you know, what is this? What kind of video is this if that's as good as we can make it? So let's do another console.log, right? Let's do console.log sorted real quick, just so we can remember what it's supposed to look like. Sorted, all right. Let's test that out. Now it looks like this, all right? Now let's get rid of all this stuff after the sorted, after the sort declaration or whatever it is. All right, so something we can do here, because we can just, let's notice something, right? So right now, it used to look like this. Right now, it looks like this. The 12 is here, okay? We know that the 12 belongs here, and we also know that this times this equals 12. So as we can see, 12 divided by 3 is 4, because this used to be, the 4 belongs here. So if we say 12 divided by what's at here, this one, usually it will work. But in this case, we have something that is this times this equaling this, which is kind of a problem for us, all right? So somehow we need to check to see if, we have to say if this times this equals this, then we say this divided by this is the answer. But if not, we say this divided by this is the answer. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So to do a little if statement thing in one line, we're going to use this ternary operator, which is the only JavaScript operator that takes 3 operands, a condition followed by a question mark, then an expression to execute if the condition is truthy followed by a colon, and finally the expression to execute if the condition is falsy. This operator is frequently used as an alternative to if-else statements. So now that you know about that, what we're going to do here is do a console.log. Let's take this, come down here, console.log, and we're going to say sorted. So now we know what sorted is. It's this thing here. Didn't even have to do that, but whatever. Now we're going to do sorted, and we're going to say if, we're going to say sorted at 7, because we want this divided by either this or this. Sorted at 7 divided by, so now we're going to say sorted at Now inside here, we're going to do a we're going to use the ternary operator. So we're going to say if sorted at 0 times sorted at 1 equals sorted at 2, question mark, what we're going to say is okay, if this equals this, we're going to say, at 0, 1, 2, 3. We're going to say 3. We're going to put 3 inside of this sorted bracket. And then if it's not equal, if this times this doesn't equal this, we're going to say 2. Now let's test that out. 4, 4. All right. All right. All right. Let's take this. Let's say return. In front of that, let's test it out. And there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Attempt it. And look at that. We made it. And it's a lot shorter too. Submit it. Check it out. All right. And so here's a way they did it cooler than we did it at first, but they used index of and splice. And that's not as brute force. Here's basically what, oh, look, that's us right there. Best practice in my opinion, of course. We've also got this one, which is hard to read, and this one is also hard to read. So you can just check out all the ones you feel like. Let's go over to mine, just me, best practice in my opinion, very much like it, and we'll see you next time.